The rift you're working on.
Oh, it's a snakeskin cowboy. I don't know.
Snakeskin cowboy.
I don't know. I try to come up with something.
Trying to come up with something new.
Yeah. I don't. It's hard sometimes.
It can be. Yeah.
To cause you any problems. Purple rain.
What?
Cause you anything. Only one time I want to see you laughing. Only want to see you laughing in the purple.
Okay, but anyways, have you been keeping up with like the LeBron James free agency?
No, I have not. I don't know what's going on. Well, I've seen a little maybe about the possibility of the Lakers.
Like, if you're him, and I mean, like, who wouldn't want to be him in the first place? Besides, like, the media criticism, I think everybody would love to be LeBron James. But who would, if you're him, which city, which team, which
That's
team?
a hard thing, you know.
Because, like, the whole world is watching. So his decision will be critiqued, like, no matter where he goes.
I don't know if he'll stay at Cleveland, possibly could. The Lakers, Houston Rockets, you know, people I haven't kept up with any since the championship game. You know, there was an issue with the Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah, they fired their GM because he was putting stuff on Twitter about injuries and different stuff like that.
Trying to build himself up from the past.
So I don't know if that hurts LeBron moving there, but what have you heard?
I mean, what I've heard, I'm going to tell you this much. The media is really pushing for him to go to LA. Okay, like, let's say this. I think Colin Cowherd said this. He said when Detroit beat LA, the most interesting topic was, is Phil Jackson going to retire? It wasn't, you know, Detroit beat Philly, or not Detroit, Detroit beat LA. Oh, my God. They just beat like a powerhouse, you know, this underdog team with decent players, but not Shaq and Kobe. They just destroyed them. That wasn't even the topic. He said that the main topic on his show was the fact that Phil Jackson may retire after this. So what he's saying is anything that involves LA is big time news. And if LeBron goes there, he says, I mean, it's going to be worldwide. He said, if you go to Philadelphia, wow, like parts of the U.S. will go crazy. Philadelphia will go crazy. If you go to L.A., that's worldwide stuff right there.
It's hard to see LeBron in an L.A. uniform.
That's another thing. But, like, the way I look at it, I think this would be a cool, like, let's say they beat Golden State. If he goes there, they beat Golden State. Kyrie and them, they get to the Eastern Conference Finals. They beat Philadelphia, Toronto, whoever they make. They beat whoever they make. Then they go to the Finals. Golden State or Houston gets upset. You have a Celtics and Lakers rematch. I mean, you know what I mean? I think the world, I don't know if people,
about that. I would expect
people may not be thinking about that. But, I mean, if he does not stay in the East, you have to say it's Philadelphia or the Celtics. I mean,
I'll probably go with the Celtics.
I'm definitely going with the Celtics here. Great coach, great talent.
Well, Kyrie Irving will be back, and it probably helped them that Kyrie was injured.
Yes.
Even though they lost the series, those guys played without him. I would think they would be hard to beat with Kyrie Irving.
And you remember Gordon Hayward, though, went down with the knee injury at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So they're missing him. And, you know, they were missing a few key bench players. But if I'm LeBron, man, I go to L.A. or San Antonio. Because if you go to San Antonio, who you got? Greg Popovich. Greatest coach right now.
There's some players out there. Kawhi Leonard is
requested
leaving.
A trade. Yeah.
I mean, you never know. I
think
if I had my way, I want LeBron to stay in Cleveland and bring other players. That's what I want. I would love. I don't know who you'd bring. I would love to see Kawhi Leonard come or Chris Paul or somebody. But
the only problem, like Cleveland, they have the worst contracts. So bringing somebody in,
Paul George.
Yes, Paul. If I'm him, I don't think you could stay in Cleveland. I think some of the things Dan Gilbert said he thinks they could build a championship team without LeBron. So if I'm LeBron, I'll leave. I'm like, okay, big boy, you already talked trash about me when I left.
That?
That's about a week or two ago. I heard it via ESPN and stuff.
Everybody knows that's BS. Well, not saying they can't, but yeah, win.
Like if I'm
Eventually,
LeBron, like
possibly.
okay, man, you got the money,
A long
you own the
time.
team, do something.
I mean,
without me.
it can take a long time.
Yes.
You can never say what somebody can do. But what's going to happen when LeBron leaves? You like the last time, you're going to be the last team. You're going to be the worst.
You're going to be the
team.
Yeah,
because who are you getting?
Who's coming when LeBron leaves?
Yeah, I mean,
you got the 8th draft pick.
No one's coming.
Nobody's coming. Nobody. I mean,
they could pull together a couple of guys like a Kawhi Leonard and somebody else. I don't know, but let's be real.
Nobody's going.
Not happening.
Okay, so another question. So we all know how Chris Paul went down with the injury, and there's questions. Had he not been injured and had the Rockets not missed 27 straight threes,
Chris Paul
got beat by 9 points.
Chris Paul was the difference in the series. I mean, Harden isn't always on. And Chris Paul Harden's had some bad games where Chris Paul bailed him out. I mean, nobody knows because it was this, is the Warriors toying with people? How hard are they playing? The Warriors are going to be hard to take down. Cleveland beat them a few years ago because Draymond Green was out. And I think as long as Durant and them are together,
that's
hard.
The
but
Patriots.
People will say, well, I never understood why players didn't take a pay cut and then just try to play for championships. And they're finally doing that. And this is just a hard tandem to be. I mean, these guys.
Yeah, that's where you have the two sides. Some people are happy it's happening because some people say it makes it exciting. Some people aren't. Look, I always watch Cowherd. Some of the things he says just look.
Yeah.
One of the things he said, what did the NBA Finals prove? That loyalty is over. He said loyalty gets you nowhere. LeBron, big loyal guy, stays in Cleveland, got swept. He's getting criticized.
I don't see why. I heard some people criticizing him at work, and I don't see why would anybody criticize LeBron? They just don't like him, is what it is. They love Michael Jordan, but
nobody wants to go with the news.
If you watch LeBron James play, why would you ever criticize him?
Why, yes.
Why would you? Because this guy is the greatest.
There's blind man, yeah.
There's no criticizing him. It's because you don't like him.
But back to the whole Chris Paul thing. So Chris Paul demanding max. He wants a max contract from Houston. Should they give him the max contract knowing that he could be injured again with his injury history? Would you pay him full max money? Or would
you've got no other option. I mean, I don't know.
The thing is, they're trying that Chris Paul and a bunch of people are trying to recruit LeBron. So a lot of people are saying, well, you can't get LeBron unless you trade for him if you don't have the cap space. So
trade Chris and bring LeBron in?
Well, no, what I'm saying
is, Chris and LeBron and Harden be on the same team, or is that impossible? That's where I'm showing my ignorance.
If Chris Paul demands for max money, it's going to be near impossible unless they get a trade. And Cleveland's not going to trade LeBron if they're not getting Chris Paul or James Harden. So here's how I look at it. I mean, with Dan Gilbert, I don't think LeBron can demand for a trade. I just don't think he can. I do not trust it. Kyrie was – see, Cavalier fans are fine without Kyrie. They love LeBron like they loved some Kyrie. Kyrie was there for what? Till he was like 23, 24. LeBron is their franchise player. So trading Kyrie and trading LeBron James, I do not think Dan Gilbert in his mind would do that. Because as much as he wants to talk about he can build a championship team without him, he knows that's BS. He's just trying to what do you expect him to say? Dan Gilbert can't come out and say, man, we're not building no championship team. Cleveland fans, you might as well stop coming to the games. We're going to sell the team. No chance. He can't say that. He has to act like they can. He has to act like with the 8th pick, they're going to get Colin Sexton or Trae Young, who is Trae Young, 50-50 on bust or, future All-Star.
He's a kid from Oklahoma.
Yeah. So they could get Colin Sexton from Alabama, and as an Alabama fan, I hope they do. Well, if LeBron stays, then I definitely hope they do. they have to hope that they draft Colin Sexton, Trae Young, Michael Porter Jr., whoever they get, they have to pray that they have a breakout year and become, what Kyrie Irving did. And even when Kyrie Irving was showing glimpses of greatness, that he eventually became one of the best players in the league, they were still lottery teams. I mean, they still drafted Andrew Wiggins, Anthony Bennett with number 1 picks. Andrew Wiggins, they traded for Kevin Love, still would make that trade. Andrew Wiggins turned out to be a great player. And Anthony Bennett, we all know about that. He did not. So
I don't know. I mean, talking about injuries and stuff,
Would you give him a
LeBron's
max
never
money?
really been injured, and some players have had injuries. Curry's had injuries, but he's come back from them. I don't know. I mean, Chris Paul has been injured.
Curry can be injured, though. The Warriors, if they lose Curry, competing for the finals may be different. If they lose Curry, this team can still win 50 games.
Yeah, the thing is,
They can still compete.
the thing. Yeah, they
saw them beat a few teams in the
sometimes
playoffs
it doesn't matter. Like
If LeBron goes out, they might not even
Cleveland
make
had
the playoffs.
no good
Yeah.
regular season. It didn't have home court advantage. But it didn't matter. They still got. I think that Golden State doesn't have to have home court advantage to get to the finals. You know what I mean? Like, but the Rockets, if Chris Paul gets hurt, how good are they?
How good are they?
Whereas, Curry's awesome. I'm not going to take nothing away from Curry, but they can sustain a little bit of time without him.
They can, yes. They can live without him.
Where do you want to see LeBron go?
LA. I think right now he has to go to LA.
What would be the changes?
I'd love for him to go to San Antonio with Pop, but if Kawhi's not going to stay, man, I just don't see it happening. Kawhi has got to stay in San Antonio if he's going to go. And even if Kawhi stays, I think LA is still the number 1 choice. But Gary Payton says that LeBron's son's going to commit to Sierra Canyon, a high school there. LeBron's son's going into 8th grade this year. They're saying he's going to commit when he's in 9th grade to play there at Sierra Canyon, one of the best schools, just barely outside, 20-something miles from where LA plays, I'm pretty sure. So whether that report or not is true, the fact that so many people are pushing for him to go LA, I mean, I don't think pressure gets to LeBron, but man, right now I'm pretty sure he's thinking about LA. And who knows, he may not be thinking about that, but I'm pretty sure it's crossed his mind a few times. People want to say LeBron's not thinking about it. Look, people say they don't listen to the media. With as much as people are talking about it, he's got buds or he's got somebody texting him, have you heard what they're talking about? Have you heard how badly they want you to go to the Lakers?
Yeah, I mean,
LeBron wouldn't be celebrated like Magic or Kareem.
I would actually rather him see. For some reason, I can't explain why. I would like to see him go to Houston, and I don't know the possibilities. Would Kawhi Leonard go to LA? Like, and I don't even know who could you get? When you get Kawhi Leonard, all right, I'm going to show my ignorance in basketball.
Show it.
That's correct.
Hey, you have those 2 cups? I'll take them out. Hit them if I don't.
That's fine.
No, right there, buddy. To your left.
Oh. Hey, the kids got me an Alabama cup, a coffee cup, but anytime you want to drink tea or anything, it's just there. It's just a plastic coffee cup that says with an A on it, but most of the time I'll be using a styrofoam, but if you want to put tea in it, it's ours.
Cool guy
right there. I know more football. Basketball, I'm a little ignorant in the how certain players like LeBron can play different positions and who can you acquire together, the salary cap, what is possible? There's no
it's
tell
possible.
me I'm Can you get
possible?
They may play the same position.
Yeah.
If I show my ignorance, but
they do.
You get Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and LeBron, or is that just impossible?
That is possible. Now, when I say it's possible, plausible, whatever word you want to use, does that mean it's definite or it's over a 50% chance? No, but it's not out of the question. With LeBron James right now, with as badly as he needs to get 3 rings for at least the GOAT conversation to kind of be in his favor, because, look, I think he is the GOAT. But you still have your people that say he won't be, and after this loss, he can't be, which I think is BS because there was no way he was going to be Golden State.
I think everything that LeBron has done is impressive. I mean, obviously you're counted on by championships, but he took a no-name team to the championship that had a horrible. I mean,
the 2016
it's a team series, and I'm sorry, the best teams won because they. Not necessarily because of magic, or they won because of magic from James Worthy, Kareem Abdul. It was a team sport, and LeBron has not had the team. He had the team when it was Dwayne Wade and Chris, what's his name, Bosh, but he doesn't have the team right now. When he had Kyrie Irving, he had the team. LeBron is awesome, but LeBron doesn't have anybody.
Cleveland's only luck right now is that they can sign Chris Bosh, hoping that he's somehow managed to stay in shape. Chris Bosh says he wants to continue to play in the NBA. So did I think Amari Stoudemire, who will be in the Big Three with Ice Cube this year. What I'm saying is the Cleveland's really only hope right now is that Chris Bosh. They sign him for like $10 million because you can't trust him right now, and he comes there and he's the same self. That's their only hope with their salary cap issues. Nobody's going to want to go there because even if LeBron does say nobody's expecting him to, the majority of people, if not everybody, is pretty sure that he's leaving. Even Cleveland fans are kissing their hopes goodbye, man. They're sending thank yous right now. They are probably hitting up his DMs, telling him how much they love him. Because they are
the Lakers pretty much the team. Is it just right now putting together the team with the Lakers?
The media is building it up that way. Now, what the media builds up and what is truly true.
How good is the different. Ball kid? How good is he gonna be? You hear people saying, he could be a B+ player, but he'll never be an A player. All he's got to be with a LeBron is a team player.
Yes.
Hit his shots, make his passes.
He ain't
got to be the best one on
productive.
the team.
He's got to. Yeah. LeBron needs productive.
How productive can he be?
My only issue, and I think a lot of people took this in, is that the diss track between him and Kyle Kuzma. Man, I don't think LeBron wants to go and play with a bunch of kids. And I mean, look, I know they're having fun, but with all these music videos, and look, I like making music, all that stuff. I get it, but here's the difference. I'm making music when I'm 13. These people are not 20-year-old grown men playing in the National Basketball Association in the United States of America. I think, though they need to have a little fun, LeBron does not want to play for kids. I mean, he traded the #1 draft pick, Andrew Wiggins, for Kevin Love, and that would be a good deal.
How is Wiggins doing?
In Minnesota, you can call him an all-star. He's putting up all-star worthy numbers.
Would they have been better with Wiggins or Love?
Love, I think Love. LeBron, I don't think he dislikes rookies because he always takes them in and brags on them.
He wants experience.
I think he wants to play with experience in these later stages.
What about what Shaq said about chasing championships?
I feel like I was going to bring that up. With Shaq, I think it's a whole different story. Shaq was out of his prime. Shaq faded quickly. I mean, LeBron could be in his prime for 3, 2, 4 more years. I hope till he's 40 because that'll make the NBA more enjoyable. Mark my words when I say this. LeBron James, when he leaves the NBA, will have some issues. I think that's inevitable. I mean, I think they'll still get high views, but LeBron James, because of the criticism he receives and because of the love he receives, whether you hate him or you love him, you're going to be watching all of his games. Because if you hate him, you're going to want to criticize him. And if you love him, you're going to want to watch him play because you love him. So when LeBron James leaves, the NBA will probably lose more than a few viewers. So you better hope he stays. Now, let's say LeBron James' son makes the NBA. Maybe that's different. What I'm saying is LeBron James needs to chase championships. He needs to get all the rings and make his last few years in the league enjoyable for all the fans. Because when he leaves, I know people say they love Curry and they love Durant. Man, Durant's not going to be the next LeBron. As much as people want to say that. Durant's not going to come in there, man, I know LeBron's retired, but man, I can still watch Durant. I can still watch all this. Well, I watch NBA basketball. Hell yeah, I'm an NBA basketball fan. Don't you agree, though, that when LeBron James retires, people won't watch the NBA as much anymore? Can you, say that?
Yeah.
So, I think he needs to chase championships. And I know that's saying for us, but if I'm the people, if I'm his fans, I want him to chase championships. If I'm LeBron, I want to chase championships to make my last few years enjoyable. Now, I'm not saying you go join some hugely packed team. You want to be able to get your shots up because he also, I think in the next few years, will pass Kareem for the most points in a career, most NBA points in a career. He'll have 10,000 rebounds and hopefully 10, 12,000 assists. He needs to get his numbers because that's one of the things keeping him in the GOAT conversation, and I think he's already passed it. But what LeBron James did in 2016 was more, I think, more defining than anything Michael Jordan ever did. I know people love MJ. That 2016 championship, was Chicago in a 50-year drought? I mean, if it hadn't been for like a bad foul call, they did good without him. Like when he went to play baseball, I mean, they may have been a few calls and a few missed shots away from actually winning a championship or competing heavily for one. So, look, Michael Jordan had way more help than LeBron James. So all of his titles, you're like, man, he was 6-0. But there's also the thing, and whether you love MJ or not, you got to admit, his team would probably make the playoffs without him. LeBron's team would be a lottery team every year, getting the number 1 draft picks they did with Kyrie Irving. So LeBron James' 2016 championship was more important than I think any championship an NBA player's won. Like, what he did was the equivalent and more of what Detroit did when they beat LA. So it's like when Mexico beat Germany in the World Cup today, or in one of the rounds. Like, that was a huge deal because, Germany's favored. And then what I'm saying is that's a huge deal. People are going to go crazy over that. Had Germany won, they were expected to.
Yeah.
Golden State was expected to win. So when LeBron won, I mean, that was more memorable than anything you could ask of him. He's got that now. He can chase championships. He's done what people did not think he could do, even with as great as he was. People are going to say, well, I mean, I kind of thought he would. No, you didn't. Okay, you might have been pulling for him to. You might have thought he would because you were hoping. Nobody could tell you, like, really knowing basketball, saying, man, he's going to come up and upset the Warriors. Without having some, like, I want him to. Nobody could say flat out, I thought he was going to beat him that year. You just couldn't, even with Kyrie and Kevin Love, whether they were healthy or not. So, he can chase championships now. I think he's proven he can do it at least once by himself. He's carried the trashiest team to the finals I think that's ever been carried there. I mean, they were the biggest underdogs in 16 years. So the fact that they came close to winning a game shows his greatness. And had it not been for J.R. Smith, everybody wants to criticize him because of what happened in the huddle. Look, you can't get mad at him for being pissed off. Pete, he's not some psychological guy who can control every one of his emotions. Like, the man's only had one ejection. I think he does a pretty good job of being a good example. And, wow, he got really mad and acted like a baby because of something J.R. Smith did. I would love to see everybody that's criticized him for that when that happened, not knowing it was going to happen, thinking that if he got the ball, he's going to put it back up for a shot. I would love to see the reaction.
At him. That was stupid. He's paid millions of dollars. He's supposed to know what is going. That's a lot of money to not know what's going on.
That's a lot. Yes.
To not know what's going on.
I think it's what my stepdad said.
I think players should be deducted money by how they play.
Yeah, Corey said this once. He's not a basketball guy. My stepdad. He said this. He saw him miss a free throw once. He said, "Man, these people get paid millions of dollars to play basketball. While he was getting that full sleeve, or while he was out there partying, he should have been working on his free throws."
No,
I mean that's true. Why do you think LeBron James is the greatest? Because he realizes he's getting paid $33 million to do what he loves to do.
LeBron can do anything. Shoot threes, take it to the – I mean, when LeBron's waiting to go in, it's like – I mean, he can do it all.
You get paid $2 million. And I'm pretty sure J.R. gets paid like 10, 15.
12 probably.
12.
Yeah.
You get paid that much money, and you don't even know what the score is. You can't – LeBron knew when that happened. I want to say – well, people want to say, well, when LeBron acted like that set the tone for them losing the series. No, what J.R. Smith did set the tone for them losing the series. LeBron's reaction was the reaction of the people that knew the series was already over. You can't criticize him for every little thing because the people who criticize him for everything he does know he knows he's the GOAT. Because if he wasn't the greatest of all time, we wouldn't care. We would not every day sit up here and criticize everything he did. Skip Bayless, I think deep down he knows he's the GOAT. Because if he's not, then why do you make it so hard on him? If he's not the GOAT, you'd be like, well, hey, I mean, LeBron came close to winning. He's not the greatest, so we didn't expect that out of him. But he is the greatest, so we expect it out of him. Every all-time great has not been criticized as much as LeBron James. I think that's why I think he's one of the greatest.
Leaning on that chair. It looks like just letting you know.
Yeah, I
I
got
say
you.
that do what you want. You might fall, but do what you want.
Yeah, but I think it's ridiculous. Okay, so we're gonna change topics here. Do you have any interest in the World Cup? Like, are you
I
watching
don't
and keeping
know,
up?
but we can just. Guy I work with, he's Guatemalan. He likes Spain. He was talking about how people do have different styles. He says Spain plays a slower style and some teams play like a faster style where they're really quick, like probably Germany or somebody.
Yeah.
Whereas Spain slows it down. I don't watch a lot.
The discussion in soccer, I think in soccer you can.
Are you watching soccer?
I mean, I watch highlights and stuff. I think in soccer you're allowed I don't think you can play as long as you can in other sports. Like, you get just a few shots to win a World Cup, and if you don't, people are saying like your Cristiano Ronaldos, your Messis, they need to win to be considered great. Similar to the LeBron James discussion, even though he's already won 3 times. In soccer, it's different because you get less opportunities. So, in soccer, the big deal is, man, Ronaldo with that hat trick or whatever he did in the game, scoring 3 goals, to help lead them to a draw instead of a defeat. I think that people are too hard on these guys. Like, I'm sorry. Look, the World Cup, whether you watch soccer or not, all you got to do is look at the teams and look at the way it's set up. It's difficult. Soccer is it's harder to carry a team in soccer than it is in basketball. Because you've got, 12 men on the field, I think? You've got a goalie, you got a lot of strikers, defenders. You got people whose jobs are just to keep you from scoring. In basketball, you have to play both sides of the field. Some of these guys are just trained to play defense. Like, even though people like Draymond Green and Dikembe Mutombo and Big Ben Wallace are some of the greatest defenders of our generations and of the NBA in its history, they still had to go down the court and play offense. Soccer players don't have to play striker. They can stay back. And the goalie, he doesn't have to play offense. He doesn't have to be a striker. His job is to protect the goal. So you have guys who don't have to worry about the other side of the ball. They have all the mental focus on their one job. So it's harder to do. So I think they need to quit putting pressure on all these guys, because the fact that they're able to do the things they do with the squads they have and with the difficulty it is to carry a team in the sport, I think it should be celebrated enough. And yes, some guys won. I think sometimes, unless they carry their teams, go look at the rosters, because I'm pretty sure most of your all-time greats had great supporting casts. I mean, I'm just saying.
No, I agree.
Whether you keep up with it or not, you have to admit it's probably one of the most difficult sports to carry a team.
Oh, yeah.
Because people.
No, I know a little. I just hadn't been watching.
Yeah. I mean, I played, and I can still play right now.
You ever miss soccer?
I do. I'm still a god at it.
Brooks don't have a soccer team?
I'm going to try to get him one, but something else I'm interested in is tennis. But, yeah. See, in tennis, too, you have all these GOAT conversations.
When is tennis season in high school?
I think it starts around, January. I would play. I would play every sport if I could. Yeah.
You said
Except
Brooks doesn't have a tennis team, or they do?
They have a tennis team. I think the fact they have a tennis team and not a soccer. They have a tennis and golf team and not a soccer team. Don't ask me what's up with that.
They did have a kid that probably had some money. One of the Richard Todd's son, didn't he go to Brooks? He was played at Alabama. I think his son was a pretty good golfer. Might have went to Alabama, but they probably got some money in the golf program. And, who knows? A lot of kids play golf.
A lot of them, yes.
A lot of kids play golf.
So, I'd like to cover different topics on the show. So, we're going to go to music. Do you think that the way people view it as not as good as the older times, do you think that's similar to how, your parents viewed the music you listened to as a kid? Do you think it's a new trend where people just absolutely hate new music, or do you think it's how it's always been?
What do you
What I'm saying is, it gets a lot of criticism from old school people back in the 90s or 2000s. Do you think it's more critical nowadays, or do you think it's as critical as it's always been?
I'm sorry, I was what? Critical, what do you mean?
You always know, your parents always tell you, it's just in every movie, turn that music down. But when they're young, they're the ones.
Oh, I think that.
You think it's just as critical as it's always been?
No, it was worse back in our day. Yeah, parents are a lot cooler now than they probably used to be. My parents' generation wasn't bad, but parents are a lot probably cooler now. It's hard to say. Parents probably didn't understand some of the music when I was young.
But I
think they're a little more accepting and understanding now than they used to be. But I mean, you're always going to have parents be strict for different reasons, religious reasons, or really in the church, or this or that. But I don't know. You had the PMRC when I was young. It was really big on trying to block lyrics and content and stuff
PRMC.
like that. PMRC, PRMC. The parents for I can't think. Tipper Gore.
And I think my thing is, when people do that, it just really shocks rebellion in kids. I think if you want your kids to be less rebellious, don't put so much rules on them.
Well,
if you tell your kid what not to do, look, I'm a teen. I know kids around me. I know what I would do. Sometimes when people tell me not to do something, I kind of want to do it more. I'm not saying that I do that, but I'm saying when you tell people repeatedly, don't do this, turn that down, it shocks rebellion in them. Sometimes I think you need to draw a line. But
I don't know.
Sometimes I think they get mad at what they started.
Where. I mean, I probably feel like sometimes I'm too cool as a parent. I do believe that discipline is important. Somehow you have to draw the line and let the kid
always.
know
I will tell you that.
That is so good. You don't need to be watching that or listening to that. But you got to be able to let them know without causing rebellion, because you got to let kids know you're going to hear words, you're going to see this and that, but that don't mean I have to allow you to look at it. Music and stuff can really affect you a lot. But I think the biggest thing that's going to affect you is peer pressure. I don't know that music and movies affect people as much as the peer pressure and the kids around them, but what's affecting those kids? Are they affected by the music and stuff and causing the peer pressure? But when it comes to sex and drugs and stuff like that, it's your environment that is the biggest. Parents can try to block what their kids watch.
Yeah,
and
well,
stuff
nowadays
like that.
it's even easier.
But they're just going to get around other kids and hear things and stuff like that.
It's inevitable, in my opinion, that you're going to hear that. If I'm a parent, I throw all of it at my kids early. Now, I'm not saying that you talk about sex when they're 4 or 5. What I'm saying is, I think when they get a certain age where that they might not fully understand it, but they have enough to at least listen, you let them know. Whenever they're 15 and they're more rebellious. So if you throw all this, don't do this, don't do that. If you throw all the rules and do's and don'ts at them when they're in a more rebellious stage of their life, like I am now, then you're gonna have trouble.
You can't lose.
I was told at a very young age what was good and what was bad. I watched movies. I saw things that I knew were bad at a young age, and that has helped me know what's good and what's bad. I'm not saying you need to put your kids around drugs, but if a kid sees a drug addict at a young age and he sees him acting like a complete fool and sees how it's ruined his life, then maybe that helps it. Then from when you're a rebellious kid seeing that and you're like, man, I want to do all that. I think with kids, they're more worried. So they're going to see that and be like, Mommy, I don't want to do that when I get older. But when you get, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, even when you're kind of 21, when you see that stuff, you're like, man, I want to do that. So I think sometimes you throw some of the things at your kids sometimes early and it'll prepare them for later.
It's understandable to want to try things and rebel. Somehow you got to make kids. The hardest thing is making kids understand the damage that something can do. Is smoking a joint one time or twice going to hurt you? Probably not. Now, you can die of alcohol. You can die. You can get drunk and die. You can die from alcohol.
It's been proven, yeah.
Someone could talk you into taking some pills and you can die from it. You may not even know you're, just like people that are allergic to penicillin. Your mother's allergic to penicillin, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
There may be an ingredient in that medication that you're allergic to. Plus, on top of that, you can die from it. You don't know how many to take or whatnot. So drugs are very dangerous. It's ruining your lives. There's this girl I work with. It's a young black girl. She's about 22, and she was talking to another young black guy that's 20 that works with me. Seems like a nice kid, very respectful. You know, typical, like any young kid, got the style and the clothes. But when I talked to him, he's like, yes, sir, and all that. But this girl, she doesn't smoke pot or do anything. But she said the guy posts on Twitter and Facebook and stuff that he did nothing but smoke weed all weekend. Well, I hate to see that. The kid's 20 years old. He's got a child about a year old.
And he's a good kid.
I mean, he seems fine, but I mean, I'm sorry, but you're ruining yourself when you're smoking dope all weekend long. I mean, I don't know the kid. That could just been a weekend thing. But, you know, I understand kids are going to rebel and they're going to do things, but don't sell out your future for drugs and alcohol. Don't sell out your motivation. When when your life and your motivation is all about I smoked dope and I did this, I mean, not everybody has to be a doctor. Not everybody has to be a lawyer, but you need to find out what your passions are in life, and you need to try to be productive and do things, and drugs stop that. I mean,
They do.
you know, Corey works hard all week long, and then he likes to go out on the boat on Sundays and drink beer. Well, that's fine. That's his business, you know. But
you got some people-
he's a hard-working, productive guy during the week. But you got people who will never manage a restaurant or never do anything. They're just going to smoke dope and listen to music, and you know, somehow you gotta. I don't know. You just want kids to have morals.
If you're going to do that stuff,
It's
at
okay
least
to
be
laugh at-
successful.
It's okay to laugh at movies, sex jokes, and drugs, but understand that sex is very dangerous. A baby, I mean, you could have a baby right now. You could have a baby. I mean, as soon as a kid gets into puberty and starts producing sperm, he can have a kid. You know, I mean, that's serious business. I had a friend that got his girlfriend pregnant, and he was about a year and a half older than you. And she had a baby. He's about 16. You know, there's rape. Girls get raped.
More often
sex
nowadays.
and when you have sex with a girl, you can affect her. You can affect her for life. Like a young
It
girl
scars
has
her.
sex, and you could scar her with the way it turns out.
People
by
talk
making
about her
fun
the rest of her
her.
life. Sending
And
news.
so I think there's nothing wrong with watching movies and culture and laughing at sex jokes and this and that. But I think the most evil people you'll meet are young kids. Kids are very mean, and a lot of these kids will grow up to be good Christian people or not, or just good people in general that you'll see out that'll change. But, you know, somehow you got to try to fit in, fight the peer pressure, but have a moral compass and know the right thing to do, because you're going to want to be, hey, I'm Evan, I'm cool, but you got to know what's right and what's the right thing to do.
Set your standards.
Yes, you got to have a standard. You know, I don't know the answer. I don't know. You know, my dad didn't like all the music I listened to, but he let me listen to what I wanted to listen to. And, you know,
As
my
long as
mom
you
let me
enjoy
watch
it,
movies and stuff. You know, it
Same
wasn't the movies that made me think I needed to have sex. It was the peer pressure of kids having sex at an early age that made me feel like I needed to have sex. But it wasn't the movies, because in the movies they were adults or whatnot. It's the peer pressure from children.
It wasn't
watching drugs and alcohol. I do believe that me and my brother have discussed it, that a lot of the movies in the 70s and the 80s that we grew up in, alcohol was pretty prevalent, like Clint Eastwood movies, Burt Reynolds movies. It seemed like a cool thing, and we didn't really realize how dangerous alcohol was.
Well, they didn't talk about it, so
you know, but it was the peer pressure of other kids that probably caused us to drink and stuff. I remember the first time I was around alcohol, I took one sip and poured mine out. I was about your age. I was in the 8th grade, and I was probably your age because I went to school younger than you did.
Yeah.
But these kids got some wine. I did not want to get no wine. I didn't want nothing to do with it. And these kids went and got it. And if it had tasted good, I'd have probably drank it. But I took one sip and I poured it out. And, you know, but it wasn't the movies and stuff. I probably felt like alcohol was okay. And that's the one reason I try to tell you the dangers of it is I probably wasn't warned of the dangers of it when I was young. My father drank. His friends drank. So we kind of thought it was cool. And I would never tell my dad this, but we kind of thought it was okay and normal. And it's not. I mean,
Back then,
it's normal for
though.
some
It was
people. It was
considered
okay
that
for
way
my
back then.
father. It was okay
So,
for
yeah.
Corey. But some people, it's not. But it was
Mhm.
peer pressure. Whenever it came to sex and alcohol and stuff like that, it was the
It
peer
was peer
pressure and
pressure,
the
yeah.
other kids. It wasn't the movie or the music or the movies that made me go do the stuff. Because it was the other kids. Because I couldn't
Oh,
have got
kids,
it without them anyway. I couldn't obtain it without them. Just because I listen to a song about alcohol don't mean I'm 13, 15. I can go to the store and get
See,
alcohol.
and I think that's where a lot of parents
I can
are
hear a
wrong.
song about drugs, but I can't go buy drugs if I don't know where to get them.
They always put it on the music. I think personally that it's more like you said, peer pressure, and they always want to put it on the music or what you're listening to. Man, once you have decided that you're going to do that, the music is just part of it. You have made that decision yourself.
I do believe the music is part to blame. I'm not. You'll have a different perspective
it
when you
can
get
be
older.
influential,
Like,
but-
I don't know all the lyrics to songs. You're a better lyric person. But I believe that, like, all right, let's take, for instance, country music gets on my nerves, but there's a lot of country music songs about love and Jesus and faith and or just being a good father. You don't have any hip-hop songs that are about being a father or just going out and getting a job. You got to admit most of them are about drugs and alcohol and sex and partying. So, I mean, I do have an issue with that. And like a lot of people talk about the Illuminati. I don't believe in the Illuminati, but I do believe that the powers that control music and the industry, they do control what music is out there. And, you know, I remember a time like we listened to Will Smith's Summertime the other day. A song does not have to talk about drugs and stuff like that to be good. A song can just be about it's summer, we're washing cars, people are looking good, hanging out. And I believe that rap music is affecting the youth. I believe it destroys the youth. And I believe it's not good for the youth. I believe that in the late 80s and the early 90s, when Bill Cosby was popular, that the music was more about getting an education and being intelligent and having respect for yourself. And I think now it's just about being a thug. And I think that, like, I'll shut up, I'm rambling. I'm an older person, and you're not going to behave like a 40-year-old man because you're young and you've got to go through your. When my dad was your age, I'm sure he was cocky and he would probably get mad if he heard me say this, but wanted to be Mr. Cool. It's a part of youth. But right now, I'm all about being spiritual. And rap music is materialistic. It is all about how much money you got, what kind of cars you drive. That ain't what life is about. You'll never find happy in materialism. You'll only find it spiritually within yourself. And you see a lot of rock musicians go through that. You see like George Harrison of the Beatles get popular, you know, do drugs, make a lot of money, but then he goes to looking at religion and stuff like that, trying to find inner peace, because these guys, that doesn't bring you nothing. And that is a problem with me with music, is I hate to see the youth being, but that's where a parent or someone's got to step in. That's where I step in. I may tell you the stuff you're like, ugh, but I'm going to let you listen to your music. Some materialism. We got a Cadillac, the women, but I'm going to also let you know that crap ain't going to make you happy. You're going to have to find out for yourself. But I mean, you know, it's up to you.
I've always put it on not the music, but the people who listen to it. I have never felt like doing half things that the music even tells you to do. Now, I mean, when you listen to it, yeah, you think about it, but have I ever done it? No. When it talks about getting into gangs as a kid, I've never gotten into a gang. I've never really even thought about it. And if I did, it was like just like an imagination, because everybody has an imagination. I've always blamed it on the people who listen to it, because I think that if you're going to listen to it, you've got to know that it's not okay. Now, I know that may be a lot to ask of a person, but when you get into the real world, and you've got to learn this, even when you're young. I mean, I've been told this my whole life, so I mean, that's how
to me, music is about.
But I think that if you listen to it, then you've got to know that what you're listening to, that's their lifestyle, and not every lifestyle. The reason that they're so successful is what they did got themselves successful. Just because they do all that stuff and they're successful doesn't mean if you do all that stuff and they're successful. I think people always look at it like
it'll turn on you.
People always look at it like, that dude is successful because in his music videos he's driving Lamborghinis and smoking weed. That's not why he's successful. He's successful. I'm using an example. This rapper nowadays called 21 Savage. His brother was killed at a young age. So to get away from that, I mean, he had to bring guns to school because kids were like, that's how in his neighborhood, people were like out to kill each other. And the only way he could escape was to get in a studio. So everybody, I think the problem is they look at people and they go, you made money because you smoke weed and you drive a Lamborghini. That's not why they are successful. They do that with the money that they made for doing something productive, like making music.
Yeah, like Chameleon. I read about him. He did the song Riding Dirty. Like, he actually went into business ventures, and he had something, Fly Rides, where he sold he's like automobiles and stuff that looked really nice, and started a production company or something. I just don't understand white kids listening to rap music about gangs and stuff and wanting to be in gangs, because that's not cool. Like I read an article.
Black people.
I read an article in like somewhere in Massachusetts where like M13 is popular. All the kids are coming up there from Colombia and different Mexico and stuff, and like they're forcing kids into gangs, and kids that used to be friends are forced into gangs and fighting. There's no reason to be glorified. You know, music is about change. If music is about Black Lives Matter and how black people are getting treated and then I understand that. One of my favorite generations of eras of music is during the I really like, or I shouldn't say eras, but what is the guy's name? I'll think of it in a second. That wrote "This Land Is Your Land." Woody Guthrie. There was a time in America during the Dust Bowl when there was no jobs and people were starving, and the Dust Bowl, the dust storms ruined their crops, and people had to go work in migrant farms, and they were taken advantage of and exploited and given low pay wages. And the music was about that, but nobody wanted to go work in a migrant farm and be a migrant worker. Like, you know, no one wanted to go live like that. But the music was about trying to make a change and exposing what was going on in America. And I think music is very powerful, but you know, as far as just making another club song or another song that we ride around in a car smoking a blunt to, yeah, those may be fun, but I just don't. That music to me, I like something that's trying to make a change.
I think it's just more what generation.
Like, I like when I listen to Prophets of Rage. That's basically saying, hey, let's step up and let's make a change in America. I like change music, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think it's theirs, but I listen to stuff like that, but. Migos, they did not become successful because of the drugs they smoke or because of the cars they drive. They became successful because they were productive in making music when the times in their streets or neighborhood were hard. And black people will tell you this. Look, they people want to make it seem like they're just glorified. They're trying to get out of the hood and all this stuff. Yeah. And why people are talking about they want to get in. Why would you want to get in? I've never been like, man, I want to get in the hood. I want to live in the hood. I want to live in the struggle. I drove through the west side of my town. Okay. That is not where I want to live. And the people that live there, that's not where they want to live.
People are misunderstanding what has made the black image seem cool and what has made the black man seem cool is not necessarily the individual. The individual is tagging along to what the race and the people as a whole have done, and that is the strength of overcoming what they were in. That was the strength of overcoming civil rights and slavery and prejudice, and the fact that they fought through it and overcame gave them a sense of confidence and gave them a sense of empowerment. But there's people who haven't done nothing but lay on the couch that rides that sense of empowerment and entitlement. But the thing is, you got to find your own struggle. If you want to be cool, you can't try to be someone else's struggle. You can't be someone. Everyone has a struggle within them, whether that's a struggle to feel smart, whether that's a struggle to feel, people have different disorders, ADD. They have people have learning disabilities. You may struggle to relate to other people. The way to be cool, just like the people that you see in your videos and stuff, is to find what your struggle is and try to attack your struggle and try to overcome your barriers. Trying to jump on board of someone else's someone else's front doesn't do
Yeah.
you no good.
As much
that's
as
what a
parents want
poser
to
is.
talk about it,
You've got
yeah.
something in your life that you struggle with. Yeah, you're probably lucky. You're a good-looking kid. People like you. You can rap. But there's a struggle somewhere in you. And the way for you
Yeah.
to be who you are and to be looked up to is to attack that struggle and attack what holds you
I don't-
back.
see,
Not ride someone else's.
and my thing is, nobody will know that I'm in the struggle. Like, or not in the struggle. My God, I'm not in the struggle. But nobody will know the struggle if I'm going through it. I do not like to make it vocal that I am. Now I may.
Everybody does.
Now,
You know, I
the
used
only
to feel,
person I would ever tell that is a really close best friend or my girlfriend, because I'm sorry, my girlfriend's not going to judge me for that crap. And you only have one or two best friends that are guys. When
yeah,
you're a
that
dude
you can trust.
that you can trust. So, and
You know,
girls
I
you
always
can trust.
felt like I
Girls
say
aren't going to
this,
go around and spread the rumors. What I'm saying is,
but I do.
you're never going to see it from me. Some
But
people out to
everybody's-
get attention for
Everybody's got their own struggle. Kelsey's is, you know, her father, and and one thing I learned is nobody's struggle is necessarily insignificant. I felt like my struggle was, fitting in when I was young and feeling like a nerd, and I kind of quit. But I had a counselor one time telling me that everybody's struggle and trauma is their own. No matter, some people have been molested and they have to overcome that. I never had anything like that to deal with. There's people. I had a counselor who was, when he was young, when he was a baby, his mother was holding him and watched his dad, her husband, crash an airplane, and his mother ended up becoming an alcoholic and killing herself, and his brother became an alcoholic and killed himself. So I'm like feeling like, whoa, my trauma and my issues are nothing compared to that. But what he told me is that everybody's got their own, and you can't compare them. Just be glad yours isn't as tough as others. But you've got stuff inside of you. You don't have to tell me that you're overcoming, but overcome your barriers to be. And there's going to be some in life that you may just have to accept that I can't, that this is who I am. Some kids are going to have to accept they're not as smart as somebody else. That no matter how hard I try, this other person's going to be smarter than me. Well, they're just going to have to accept it. But I don't know.
I mean, I get what you're saying. But it's just the way people have to learn. I think parents just put it out there that it's...
Do we have any viewers?
We have.
We do?
We've had. I don't think we have them right now, but we've had.
Who was that?
I don't know. I don't get to see.
Well, I mean, who do you think? Your girlfriend?
I don't know. Somebody liked the post. So.
Somebody put a like on it?
Yeah.
What were we talking about at the time?
I don't know. Sports probably.
I mean, where does it say who's watching now?
See, we don't have anybody watching now where the group is, but then you
Yeah.
have the like right there. So
And you didn't like it?
No.
Someone else did.
YouTube, I got off YouTube for a while, man.
Yeah.
It's Instagram and just music. I haven't made that much music in a while. I'll make.
I read something
probably
the
gonna
other
work on a
day
song before I
really
get off.
interesting. It's a little for older people about called minimalism. And it's on a lot of different things. Like it was talking about reducing clutter, but it was also talking about being minimalistic with technology and friends, meaning, some people have too many friends, but like I'm at a point right now where I don't have but just the right friends where we're both giving and taking, and I don't have too many friends in my life. But also it talks about taking breaks from social media and stuff that, sometimes it's good to just take a break and cut your don't get on Facebook, don't get on your social media, read a book, do something else, listen to some music, but just take a day and just cut out all that and just, maybe just say, hey guys, I'm just going to play my video games. I don't know that playing video games and talking to your friends is necessarily, but I think it is good sometimes to just cut it all off. Like you can get caught up. Like I think social media and stuff like that is good. And I think the videos that you do good is rapping. But I do think, I like it when I see you being creative. Like, before you got into the videos, when you first got into the videos, you used to get on there and look up stuff and, look up different people and, write raps and stuff. I like it when you're trying to use your brain and learning and stuff
it
like that.
makes it more creative.
Like you used to, when you were a kid, you would read a book about Mars or Jupiter or something, and then you would write a book and draw pictures and take it to school. Yeah. And it was awesome because you were so passionate about those things. And there's nothing you're doing in your life right now that is wrong. I think we have to go through phases. I think we have to go through, But somehow turn them off, and some days find a way to be productive in another way.
Oh yes.
Or
yes.
one day after football practice, just turn everything off, don't do nothing, and just relax your mind and your body.
Meditation. Kyrie Irving does that too.
I've got some books on meditation, but I've never really done it. It's just where you meditation is where you just clear your mind. Like your brain is like a motor. Like, when someone's air kicks on and it goes, ding, 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 ding. Your brain wants to, what is one of the saddest things is we aren't taught how to use our brains. We are taught how to learn and stuff, but no one's really teaches us how to use our brain. Our brain's always going blah 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 blah. Think this, think that, do this, do that. Look at that person, judge that. And meditation, you learn to just set it off and just make it. You're awake, you just stop the noise. You tell the noise you're not going to control me. I'm gonna shut you down.
Telling the noise, telling it shut. Yeah, I know.
Your brain's always talking to you, and sometimes you got to learn how to to not listen to your brain or change the way your brain thinks or works.
Before we get off, we're trying to make this an hour. We got about 5 minutes. We're gonna finish with the story about this man named. Have you ever heard of Li Ching-yen? Now they haven't proven he lived to be 200. He claims he was born in 1736, and it's been proven he died in 1933. Records have shown he was born in 1677, 260 years.
Your sister was telling me about this in the pool.
7
yesterday.
feet tall. He had 24 spouses, 100 kids. Okay.
Where did he live again?
He lived
China.
Yeah. So he lived off of Chinese herbs.
Herbs.
And he lived his.
Say his name again. I'm looking it up.
Herbs.
What? No, his name.
Li Ching-yen.
Lee, Lee.
Yeah.
Chi.
Here, I'll get you.
Yeah, I can look it up later. You'll be on there.
Here, well,
girls naked in bathtub.
Girls naked in bed. Okay,
I want to look it up on mine later.
I can just but
what's his Lee? Go to the Li Ching-yen. Okay.
But he lived in the mountains most of his life, and he did Qigong, that movement, all that stuff that they do over there. He claimed that when he was in the mountains, he met a hermit who claimed to be 500 years old. So, the interesting part to me is that there are people maybe out there in the mountains that are 600 years old.
I don't believe that.
Well, but you got
your skin can't live that long, could it? Imagine what your skin and stuff would look like.
But you see, the way I look at it, though, you got to admit that's kind of cool to think.
But they didn't. Well, he died in 1933.
Records show he was born in 1677. But I mean, don't you find that neat? Even though they may not be true, the fact that there could be, despite all odds, somebody out there that's that old and we don't know about them. I mean, I think that's cool because people die getting caught up in what's going on. Man, these people are living out in the mountains just, I think there's partly, my thing is I'd want to live forever, but if to live forever, you would have to just stay calm your whole life and not enjoy it. I mean, I want to enjoy my life.
Well, you're going to experience death. It's inevitable you'll experience death. The one thing I wouldn't want to be is here when the sun explodes. You
could say you lived through
when a meteor hits.
When a meteor hits.
But you're going to die eventually. That's going to happen. You'll either see the end of the world or...
you'll die before the end of the world, yeah. So I just think it's cool that you can go out there and there are people out there that have just gotten away from it all, and they're living to be that old. Because the dude, if this man could live to be 260, but people have been all over him, so he had to get in the media or been around people. People are just that they're calm all the time. Their brains can focus. I think part of it may be that if your brain really can expand, then you can find ways to live forever. Who knows? But with stress,
your brain can expand by one of the ways your brain can expand is by learning how to remove the junk in your brain and putting in the good stuff and focusing. And I think a lot of longevity or what he does, he called him an herbalist. He probably
Herbalist,
his diet, the herbs he used, he did certain things to
His meditation.
yeah,
Qigong.
like certain foods make you feel bad, certain life experiences make you feel bad. He did the things to make himself feel better, to make life more
Yeah.
enjoyable, and he was focused on what was best. What is the best wants out of life?
But yeah. But yeah, that's just the way I look at it. But you live and you learn. But I mean, part of me is like, man, it'd be cool to just like walk out of the woods and people be like, "Whoa, you've been missing for 100 years. Where the hell have you been,
Where
man?
have you been?
My grandpa was a fan of yours." Yeah. Dang. John, like the lead singer of the Doors comes out of nowhere. Sacagawea. Hey, one of my ancestors really had a crush on you. But I guess that's where we'll leave it off. See you guys next time. Any last words to the people?
Peace out, and always love and never take anything personal, and don't assume anything.
You are host. Take this personal.
And don't assume that this is good advice either.
You can assume that what we're telling you is crap. Full on crap. Goodbye.